Hi, welcome to WordCraft. Yes, you heard me right, it's WordCraft, not Warcraft. This is a new game from Artipia Games, which is really fun and very thinky and creative and very fun above all. So this is a game where players play the roles of alchemists in 1420. Some grand merchants came back from the Far East bringing new ingredients, and the ingredients in this game are various letter cards with different colors. And as the Grand Alchemist has given you instructions, you have to prove yourself. So now you're trying to craft as many new recipes from the new ingredients that they just arrived in the city. So players play 3 rounds trying to craft, construct, think of different words from the letters available in each round in the center of the table. And they're trying to do that not only to create different words, to also on the same time try to fulfill achievement cards by using specific rules, like making a 5-letter card, making a letter card that starts with one ingredient and into the other, or using some 2 specific ingredients, and so on and so on. And the players are awarded experience points, which are essentially victory points, by crafting words and by also fulfilling achievement cards at the end of the 3 rounds. And the player who has done the best job is declared the winner and the Grand Alchemist successor after that. The game is really fun. It really shines on finding out and thinking and trying to squeeze different possible available letters from words from the letters that you have used inside the game, and it's really fascinating. So join me at the table. I'll show you how the game works. I'll explain the rules to you so that you can play Warcraft, and join me at the end of this video for some final wrap-up about how the game plays and all the fun that I had with it so far. In 1420, in a European city, as members of the local society of alchemists, you're always eager to create a new recipe that will unveil the mysteries of the world. After a long period of inaction, vendors returned from the Far East and brought 26 new, unexplored ingredients for you. You should master the use of these ingredients by creating new formulas. The master alchemist provided guidance on how to take best advantage of them. And it is now time to prove that you are the most capable alchemist out of them all. WordCraft is a war game with strategic paths to victory. Craft formulas, in this case words, using the 26 ingredients, in this case letter cards, and use multiple times as many of them. Follow the guidance, which are the achievement cards, score the most experience points, and become the winner. So let's familiarize ourselves with the components of the game. The game comes with 26 letter cards, which are in 5 different colors. This is the back of each of the color deck, and I have already laid out, according to setup, from the respective deck several letters populating the main board. There are also 14 achievement cards, which are all assigned to 4 different categories. In each of the categories you have many, so you can have different achievement cards in each game, and different type of game and different things to go after for repeats essentially. You also have 96 cubes that you see here in the center. These are 24 in each of the 4-player colors. I have to mention here that these nice beautiful flasks that you see, which are some 3D printing, you can get them from Artipia Games. This is an extra product. This is not included in this box. This is an upgrade, but there is a nice perk that these flasks replace the cubes for the 4 different colors and the colors of the players. You will get them from free if you pre-order the game for Essen or any other type of pre-order, which they're going to be a free gift from Artipia to those who pre-order the game. So really nice flasks, not only for Warcraft, for other games as well. They're beautifully crafted. They're small flasks that players can use instead of cubes for this game. So these are the components of the game, and don't miss the opportunity to pre-order the 3D printing flasks, which will be free for getting the game as a gift from Artipia for Essen. Now, game setup. First, categorize the achievement cards based on the requirement type, the background color. Shuffle each deck separately and reveal one card from each of the 4 categories on the table, where everyone can see them. Again, keep in mind that this is a whole deck, so you have various cards for each of those categories, but you separate them by color, randomly select one card, and this is the set that you're going to use, for example, for this game. Then separate the letter cards, which again, they're based on the color, so all these are letter cards and they are based on the different colors you see: blue, yellow, green, red and purple. They also have a different ingredient on the back which matches the color as well. So once you separate them, shuffle each deck separately and reveal 2 blue, 3 yellow, 3 green, 2 red and 2 purple from their respective decks. Form a grid on the table as indicated in front of you as such. The player who mixed ingredients of any kind most recently is the first player for the game, and now you're ready to start crafting some nice words. Game overview. The game is played in 3 rounds. The round overview goes as such. First you have craft words, where players take turns one after the other crafting and creating words. Then the second step of each round is the end of round scoring, where you score experience points, EP, from letter cards, and third and last phase in each round is preparation for the next round. After 3 rounds, you score experience points from all the achievement cards, depending on how well you did, and also you sum the experience points that you acquired through the course of the actions by crafting words and determine the total winner from the sum. Now, a couple of words for each of the phases for the round. First, we said we craft words. Each of the 3 rounds of the game consists of a series of turns, starting with the first player and continuing in a clockwise order. On your turn, you look at the letter cards on the table and think of a word that consists of at least 3 letters found on these cards. So you can use only letters from the grid that you're playing. Not all of the available letters need to be used in a word, so you can skip some, but also any letter doesn't appear on the grid can not be used, so you can only use letters that appear on the grid. But to make things a bit easier for you, you can use a specific letter multiple times when crafting words. To create a word, say it out loud, and for each of the word's letters, place a cube or a flask if you go to 3D upgrades on your color on the corresponding letter card. If a letter appears more than once in a word, place that many cubes of your stock of your player color on its letter card. Placing cubes on every used letter is mandatory and is something that you wish, because the more, of course, flasks or cubes you use, the more letters you use, the more points and possible achievements you may fulfill. If you are unable to think of a word, you may voluntarily pass, and you check if, in any case, if the wording that you use is allowed according to the criteria that I'm going to describe and explain at the end of this video. It is suggested that each player places their cube on a different corner on top of their letter cards, as it will be easier in this way to check how many flasks or cubes each player has there. Just to demonstrate this a bit better, you see, for each of the cards that you have used through the course of the game, and players are going to be using all these cards, the letter cards, it's advised that you use always the same corner. So the yellow player always places on the top left in this example, the orange player always on the top right, the blue player always on the bottom left, and the white player always on the bottom right. Again, here showing this in all of these 4 cards as an example, and keep in mind that I may refer to cubes, but I'm going to be placing flasks because they are really so beautiful. So no way I'm going to be using cubes when I have the flasks. Achievement cards. After creating a word, check if any achievement cards requirements are fulfilled. You may place up to 1 cube or flask of your color on each of the fulfilled achievement cards. In the rulebook you can check for more information on the different categories requirements, and I'm going to show some examples and explain a few. So placing a cube on a fulfilled achievement card is optional. You may skip it or not do it if you don't want to. Next player's turn. The player on your left plays next and shall create another word consisting of available letters and place cubes on the word letters cards. If the word fulfills the requirements of any achievement cards, the player may place cubes there too, continuing playing likewise in a clockwise order. The round ends. When a player is left with 2 or less cubes available, the end of the round is triggered. This player scores immediately 2 additional experience points, writing them down on a piece of paper, and all other players play one last turn. The round then has ended. The second step is the end of the round scoring. Players now score experience points depending on who has the majority of the cubes on each letter card, and each letter card check has to be made to see which player has the most cubes on it. That player scores the letter card's experience points, and in case of a tie, all tied players score the letter card's experience point at the bottom center of the card. You write down on a notepad on a piece of paper the experience points earned, and each player gets from the various cards that they won the majority in total. Note that you do not score experience points for the achievement cards at this stage, as they are only scored at the end of all 3 rounds of the game, and after scoring all letter cards, players get their cubes back from each letter card, and you do not though remove any cubes or flasks that they were placed on the achievement during the word creation process for the round. Now, let's quickly see some gameplay examples. The orange player created the word tree, placing 1 flask on the letter T, 1 flask on the letter R, and 2 flasks on the letter E, so tree. Then they place 1 flask of their color on the achievement card that requires words starting with yellow letter and ending with a blue letter. They've done that already here. You see, they started with a T, which is a yellow letter, and they end their letter on a blue letter card, which is an E. So therefore they managed to create the word and get to put one of their flasks for making this achievement happen. The yellow player created the word wage, placing 1 cube on the letter W, another one on the letter A, another one on the letter G, and another on the letter E. So they made wage. Of course, they also get to place one flask on their achievement card that requires words with at least 2 red letters, and another cube to the one that requires a red letter to be followed by the blue one. So by doing so, the yellow player first of all fulfilled this achievement and placed 1 flask there, because they did use exactly 2 red letters, and they also placed 1 flask there for the second achievement, since it requires a red letter to be followed by a blue one, and they did it for the word wage. Last but not least, the blue player managed to create the word darts, so they placed D-A-R-T-S, they made the word darts, and because they managed to create a word that is made up from exactly 5 letters, and they use 5 of their flasks, they may get to place 1 flask for fulfilling this achievement card as well. And now let's see an end of round scoring example. For the letter T that you see here, the blue player has the most cubes and scores 3 experience points, as indicated on the card, because he has more than the rest, more flasks than the rest, more cubes than the rest. For the letter R, which is here, all 3 players are tied 1-1-1 for the first place, so they all score 3 experience points. For the letter D here, the player yellow and the orange player, they both score 4 experience points, while the blue player scores nothing. Third step is prepare for next round. The player who has the fewest flasks or cubes on the achievement cards will be the first player of the next round. In case of a tie, the new first player will be tied player furthest from the first player on the previous round in a clockwise order. Then you return all used letter cards on the corresponding decks, so they all go into their decks. Then you reshuffle the deck thoroughly, and then again you create and reveal from the beginning 2 new blue cards, 3 yellow, 3 green, 2 red and 2 purple, to create again the grid and start playing the second round. Finally, before starting the second round, you give each player 3 more cubes or flasks of their color from the general supply, and now they're ready to start the round. Keep in mind they start with 18 and they will get 3 more for the second round and 3 more for the third round. They're ready to start the next round. The game ends. After the third round scoring phase, the game ends and it's now time to score experience points for the achievement cards and determine the winner. First, score experience points from the achievement cards. There are 3 different scoring categories of achievement cards based on their difficulty. The green color corresponds to the easy achievements, those over here. The yellow to the medium, these are green easy, these are yellow medium. Then of course you have purple, which correspond to the hard, and then you can see how the difficult game will be. So you check all these achievements, and depending on the quantity of the cubes, flasks each player has on each achievement card, they score the corresponding experience points that are shown on the card itself. If a player has more than 5 cubes of a single achievement card, start over another scoring set. For example, if a player has 7 cubes on an easy achievement, they score 14 experience points for the first scoring set of 5 cubes, plus 4 experience points for the second scoring set of 2 cubes. You write down all the achievement cards points that you have been awarded and earned from each player on a piece of paper or a notepad. So here, for example, the player has 2 sets, so they would gain for this set 4 experience points. The second is the sum experience points and the determination of the winner. For each player, you add the experience points they earned during the 3 rounds and the ones from the achievement cards that they only are awarded at the end of the game, and the player with the most experience points is the winner. In case of a tie, the winner is the one amongst the players, the tied players, who has the most cubes on the achievement cards in total. So you sum all those in total. In this case, it will be yellow because they have the most. And then, of course, if all players still tie, the victory is shared by all tied players. Just a couple quick clarifications. The letter card which has Q and U, which is this one, can be used either as a Q or as a QU. For example, in a game that the achievement card requiring words utilizing 4 cubes and the letter cards QU, U, T, Y, and E are available, the player may create the word quiet either by placing 1 cube on each of the cards QU, U, the second card, I, the third card, E, the fourth card, and T, the last letter cards, or by placing 1 cube on each of the QU as 1 card, using it as part of quiet, 1 cube on I, 1 cube on E, and 1 cube on T, so that they can make the same word with less cubes. Gameplay time and player's turn duration. It is suggested that playing for the first game should be easy without any time restrictions. However, in order to avoid too long sessions, you may try one of the following options. You can use option 1 with the use of a timer and give each player a pre-agreed time limit. For example, each player can have 3 minutes to time to craft a word or pass. And an optional rule 2 is, if you want to use the second one, is after some time, if a player has not created a word, other players may agree to provide 1 minute deadline to create one or pass, so force them to conclude. In any case, try not to be very strict with young and or new players, and additionally it's also suggested that at the beginning of each round you provide a 1 minute time window at least to all players before the first player's turn starts, so that all players can have a chance to familiarize themselves with the available cards and card letters that are going to be used for the current round. There is an alternative gameplay rule set where you can have predetermined difficulty level. So during setup you categorize achievement cards based on their difficulty levels, experience point colors, shuffling each deck and reveal 1 easy, 1 medium and 2 hard achievement cards, or any other combination of 4 cards in a total as you see fit. Or you can have teams play. To play the game in teams, at least 4 players are required, players are split into up to 4 teams, and each team gets 18 cubes in total for their preferred color, or flasks, hopefully flasks. And you use a timer and give 3 minutes time span to each team for their turn, and on their team's turn, players consult each other and they create one single word. Then it is the turn of the other team in clockwise order, and you play the rest of the game as normal. Now, a quick explanation of the achievement cards, and as we see them for by type, essentially. So you can have blue achievement cards, like this one. Blue achievement cards are fulfilled by creating words starting with a specific color letter and ending with another specific color letter, and the color letter, of course, is indicated by the ingredients / color. You can have green achievement cards, and again, when I say yellow or blue, I refer to the achievement card itself. So for green, like this, achievement cards are fulfilled by creating words using at least one pair of the specified color letter card followed by another specified color letter card, so this and that in this case. You can have orange, like this one, where achievement cards are fulfilled by creating words utilizing a specific exact amount of cubes, even if multiple cubes are placed on the same letter card, so in this case exactly 5. And last but not least, you have the purple, this one. These achievement cards are fulfilled by creating words with at least 2 letters of the same color, even if a single letter card is used twice. So the more you fulfill these conditions, these achievement cards, the more flasks cubes you place during the course of the game, and the more points would be awarded at the end of the game for you. Now, a last word about wording Yeah, that's a nice expression. A last word about wording and words acceptance. Before starting the game, we suggest that players agree on which difficulty and which dictionary they want to play. So they decide the dictionary, whether it's going to be standard English dictionary or web dictionary. However, players are not allowed to use that dictionary or other external sources to help them while they're crafting words. Words that have less than 3 letters are not allowed, like in or no or at. You may not use words that have already been used throughout the course of the game, nor derivatives that come out from these words. So therefore, use a notepad to write down each word after every player's turn. For example, you cannot create bike or bicycles if the word that bicycle has already been created in the game. All words of the language you're playing the game with and all foreign words that have become part of the spoken language appearing in the dictionary are allowed. Suffixes, prefixes and abbreviations are not allowed. Words that require the use of hyphen or apostrophe cannot be played in the game, like doesn't or t-shirt. Any word that requires the use of capital letter is not allowed. For example, names, cities, days, they are not allowed. And finally, if players have doubts on the accuracy of a crafted word, they may pause the game and any timer used to consult the dictionary. If the majority of the players agree that the chosen word is unacceptable, the player must create another word. And remember that if a player is unable to think of a word, they may choose to voluntarily pass, of course. So, there you have it. This is everything you need to know about WordCraft, a fascinating new word game with area control and majority. So great word game, and there you have it. This is WordCraft. If you're looking for word games, look no more. This is a brilliant design, a very, very simple but extremely replayable, fun, interesting and enjoyable word board game essentially. The game offers very easy to digest, to absorb and use for the gameplay aesthetics. So the way that you have the grid in front of you is really, really easy. Essentially trying to craft as many words as possible so that you gain the most victory points, but on the same time you have your second eye or your expertise or your looks on the achievement cards, because by crafting specific words which award you on the achievement cards, they give you experience points and you want to have more and more. So you're striving for majority on the cards. The more cubes, flasks if you have the upgraded components, you get on a card, that means that you win the experience points of the card. So you're picking more and more experience points as you have more and more flasks on a specific card from the rest of the players, at least by one. or even if you tie, then you get the same victory points, experience points with the rest, but also from the achievement cards. So this is a nice pool of VPs from different areas and different sources, and it's really nice because you always are thinking of words, but you don't just need to make a word, you need to make it in a way sometimes that fulfills the achievements requirements so that you get extra victory points. I really like that about the game. The game has a ton of replayability, like I would say I would expect from such a game, so it delivers that. And all the components are very functional, the cards are really big, so you can have, it would be pity to have too many cubes on a small surface, so they're big square cards so that you can see clearly the majority. And of course, I highly advise that players are picking one of the corners depending on when they're sitting on the table, and they always put their color cubes or flasks on the same corner, so it's very easy with a scan on the table to see who has the majority on each given card at any given time. And I think I'm really happy and satisfied. This is a small box game that comes on a journey or on a trip with you, with lots of replayability, lots of fun, and definitely all the word crafting lovers out there, they would really appreciate it and they would like it a lot, the same like me. So many thanks for watching. Keep in mind that if you liked the flasks, I don't think anyone would not like the 3D flasks. They look beautiful, so much better than cubes. If you pre-order the game for SR or any other type of pre-order from Artipia Games, you will get this for free. So I think this is now the time to get a WordCraft in your library. So many thanks for watching.